I interviewed President Trump before the election, and we offered to Vice President Harris to do the same thing. And her team didn't feel like it was beneficial, and his did. And so we flew up and did an interview. It was 40 minutes or something. It was not life-changing for him, for sure. And it was kind of cool for me because I've never done that.
Heck
but
yeah.
I don't interview people in general, but I certainly don't interview presidents very often. And so very interesting. And, I came away from that personal interaction. I've been around him a couple times, but the way he handled himself through that whole thing with interacting with me, more impressed, not less impressed. And but boy, did people get upset about me doing that. I'm like, hey, I offered to both. And I really was intrigued. I don't agree with, I agree with him more politically.
Sure.
But I certainly don't agree with everything he does, and certainly don't agree with how he does everything, that for sure. Mm-hmm. But I kind of like the guy.
It's hard not to like, especially when you're in
person. He's very charming and very charismatic. And I seldom find people on either side of the aisle that reach that point that aren't.
Yes.
Like I've had several friends that have spent time with Bill Clinton. They say he's absolutely owns a room.
That's what I've heard,
when he walks in. And I don't doubt that. I believe that to be true. And I've got other friends that are, along that ilk. And so I really did want to interview her because I'm pretty sure that all of those edits of Fox News of her were not exactly accurate. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure. And and they're trying to make her look like a clown.
Sure.
And so I don't think you get to be Vice President of the United States and be a complete clown. Mm-hmm. I just don't think that. I don't believe that. So I really wanted to try to find out who she really was. It didn't work out, but I really was curious.
I think so many people were. And she said no to you. She said no to Dr. Phil. He told me that he tried. There were 23 different email communications separately.
Yeah, our guys
up there too.
Yeah, we talked to him. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Rogan, obviously famously turning that down. But hey, you did your job as a journalist, didn't you? You tried. You tried to keep it fair and balanced.
Yeah, I'm not really a journalist, though.
I know.
I'm just Dave.
In that moment, though, and when you're running a business, where
honestly, I didn't do it just to be up here fair and balanced. I did it because I really was curious.
Yeah, and you have the opportunity to do it, which many people
don't. I really
don't.
wanted to talk to her. I was very curious, and I wasn't trying to do a hit job on it. I don't do that.
I believe that.
I don't do that. And so I would have let her talk and make her case about the things that we disagree with, and we can have a fun discussion about it, I think. I've had some great discussions on my back porch with people I greatly disagree with. A lot of fun stuff. Well,
and when you're a normal human being can have a conversation and then not, get up and run away or call people names because you think differently. Yeah. It can be so productive. And for me, I like it because it opens my mind. We all have an opinion.
I'll give you an example. Remember all the stuff during George Floyd, all the racial stuff. And so I grew up in the Deep South in the 60s. And so I grew up in a racial environment, a racist environment is what I should say. And then as I grew up, and certainly as I became a person of faith, I dealt with that and went, that's just ignorance. And I put it all in my early 20s, put that aside really quickly. And so I don't have any issue with that stuff at all. But it's funny during that time, I'm like the antithesis. I'm the flashpoint because I'm a Southern, white, wealthy male. It's like you are the personification of evil.
You're the devil.
In the middle of that discussion,
yes.
Right? Even before you open your mouth. Mm-hmm. And so, or even before someone finds out who you actually are. But I get, like I would say, we had a African-American guy. It was one of our personalities at the time, Anthony O'Neill. And we're talking about on the air. And he was with me one morning. I was busting up here to get to the airport, and I got pulled over in small town Tennessee by the big belly sheriff. Like a stereotype from now on. So I got this African-American guy in the back, white guy over here, me. I'm driving like 80 miles an hour in a 30 or something. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm trying to get to the airport.
Oh, my goodness.
I was just busting it. I didn't care. And so he's like, what you doing, boy? And I'm like, whatever. And he's like, kind of went a little fast, yeah. And he goes, well, I'm going to give you a big ticket. And I'm like, come on, man, I'm just trying to get to the airport or whatever. I said, here's my gun permit. I'm all this, whatever. And he's like, no, man. And he starts cussing me, and he gives me a lesson, and then he hands me a ticket, and we're driving away. And the African-American guy we're driving away, he goes, I didn't know that happened to white people.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
It was so great. And then the other thing that happened was I kept telling everybody, I'm a redneck hillbilly. I'm a redneck hillbilly. Well, he thought, growing up in his culture, in the portion of the culture he grew up in, that meant racist, that redneck was,
yes,
that means, the word means racist.
Right.
And to me, it's like, no, it's a country boy. It has nothing to do with racism. It's just a country boy. It's just a person that thinks like you grew up on the farm and, you got a pickup truck and cowboy boots and a gun and whatever, all that. But it has nothing to do with racist. But he's like, I got my friends call me, this guy saying, you're on the air saying you're a redneck and I work for you. He goes, they don't understand. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I had no idea. But it's learning, all this stuff is based in ignorance.
Yes.
And it's not based in knowledge. And once you get the knowledge, you're like, oh, that's just, that's so ridiculous, it's humorous.
Well, because sometimes if you don't laugh, you cry about it. It is crazy. Yeah. But I always try to remind people, again, my kids, those people, they're people, I guess, that everyone has an opinion, and their opinions are based usually on their experiences. So let's lead with a little more kindness, because you might disagree and you might think they're nuts for that opinion, but you don't know what they've been through. You don't know their story.
It's hard to hate people you spend time with, though.
It is. Well, but you gotta make the effort.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I asked about the. I'm glad you told me the Kamala story as well, because when you run such a massive business company, you're going to have people who aren't going to agree with what the leadership says, what the boss says, what the messaging is all the time. But I hope everybody knows, right? And I guess that ship has sailed now. But yes, you interviewed Donald Trump before the election, but you tried to interview his opponent as well, and to be representative of your entire company, because although I'm sure many believe what you believe, there's probably many who don't also. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a lost opportunity. So it's okay. It's over with. But there's many elections to come still.
It's good for them, because they came into, several of them come in and sit in the leader's office and go, I'm struggling with Dave doing this. This is hard for me. That
created conversation.
Because I love Dave, and I want to be behind everything here. I want to be loyal, but I'm really struggling with this because I'm not aligned, and I'm like, I understand. And you know what? You're allowed to work here. Hello. It's okay. Yeah, especially if you have the moxie to come in and sit down and tell somebody that.
That's a big deal.
That's even cool. Mm-hmm. That's even cooler. And nobody got punished for that. Nobody got, oh, well, you're not one of us. We can do with that. That's kind of dumb.
But when you look at where corporate America as a whole is today, it's heartbreaking is what it is to me.
Yeah.
Where they only choose, not all, but most choose to align with one side and one side only.
Oh, yeah.
And then that's where the cancel culture and everything else comes in. It isn't just on social media. It is through your corporations and the boards. How does that get turned around? I mean, how do we begin to heal there, where true leaders are going to do what you did? And sure, give your opinion, but make sure everybody feels welcomed.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think it's how are we having the discussion? It's not as much as are we allowed to have the discussion? And so, like, I've seen people come out and get fired recently because they said inappropriate things. Mm-hmm. It wasn't because they disagreed. Mm-hmm. It wasn't because they had a different viewpoint. It's because they went cuckoo with their mouth. Mm-hmm. And that'll get you fired. That'll get you fired here.
Yes.
I mean, if you came out and said, well, and posted on your social media that, Dave Ramsey, I did fire somebody during COVID. I had one wife that went on social media and said, Dave Ramsey's trying to kill his employees. And I'm like, your husband works here. And you really believe that? And yet he is in the building? I mean, you really think he's going to die, and yet y'all are so dumb he's here. That's pretty dumb. So, number one, you trash the guy that feeds your family on the air in public without saying anything to us directly. Number two, you're so dumb you think you're going to die, and you came anyway? Those are two reasons to not work here anymore.
That doesn't even add up.
But that's different than, hey, Dave, I'm really struggling with your COVID policy, bringing everybody back to work in the building. Even though the governor said it's okay in the state of Tennessee, but it's real early in this thing, and I'm really scared. And we did have a lot of those discussions, and that's a fair disagreement.
Mm-hmm. It is. I do feel like the tides are turning a little bit. And when you see the number of people who have been fired for, laughing at the fact that Charlie Kirk was murdered.
Yeah. And you should be.
Teachers.
And I don't care. If you laughed at George Floyd getting murdered, you should be fired.
Correct.
I mean, that's just dumb. You shouldn't hire dumb people, and you shouldn't keep them. That's just people that don't know how to control their emotions in their mouth. They're not good team members. They need to go somewhere else. And so, yeah, I would fire you over either one of those.